in the bottom left, folks. In the red, he is for the Shopify Rebellion. A god of TVT. It's Byun. In the upper right, in the blue from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, the online warrior returns to form. It's Cure. And I have missed Cure. He has not been, we haven't really seen him doing these online stuff since Katowice for the most part. And, you know, as someone who does enjoy the storylines that Cure, because, well, whether or not Cure is a GSL champion player, in fact, he has not done all that well in the GSL as of lately. I don't think he made round of 10 even in season 1. He was the season 1 champion last year, and that is nothing to bemoan. Certainly not. So it's good to see him back, as I was talking about in the break. Cure is one of these players that used to be, there was this triumvirate of Korean players. One Zerg, one Protoss, one Terran, who would always go and they would just be in the finals of every EBT Korea in North America for a while. It was Zest, Solar, and Cure. Zest is in military. Solar has lost confidence a little bit in his play. He's kind of fallen off, and Cure stopped playing these for a while. But we got spiciness in game 1 from Cure. And then before you look at it, you say, well, it's because it's late for the Koreans. Actually, it's not. It's 11, I think. They're 13 hours ahead of me. It's 10 o'clock at night, so that would mean, yeah, it's 11 a.m. for them. So it is the perfect time to play some StarCraft. Byun, though, he gets the scout off here. He's going to find the SCV, which is not the end of the world. Now, ideally, you're trying to kill this Reaper when you have concussive shells, but still, the Marauder does not die all that easily, but it's a nice early scout coming out from Byun. Here's the Marauder. Got to be very careful. Does not want to get surrounded by these SCVs, and he's going to do what he can to not just running away. He will get one SCV for his troubles, but you're really trying to pair these Marauders up. Oh, the kiss of death there. Oh, the Reaper does get the first Marauder. Now onto the other side of the map it will go because the bunker is almost complete. Concussive shells are done now, though, and now life gets a little bit more complicated for Byun, because he got that first Marauder. It's a lot harder for Cure to pair things up, and yes, SCVs are off the line. This much is true. But you need to pair them up. You really want to be able to have that ability to kill things rather quickly. And now, Byun on the other side, I mean, I feel like Byun has just has really won this game already. He's delaying, what is that, the factory? He's delaying the starport really damn long. He's going to delay it a second time. Another Marauder pops out, and it's just dead. Byun, yeah, he lost 2 SCVs, but you're very okay with that one. His Reapers have not died. It's going to be a 3 Reaper, 2 Hellion pressure out of this. Should Cure ever get his natural, or should ever even try to take his natural, which is not going to work out for him, as though one Reaper does fall. Even still, Marauder is dead once again. And the Marines now, they're going to slowly chase this barracks down until it burns and falls out of the sky and does all those wonderful, give us all those wonderful images. So Cure, he's going to be short of barracks. He's not going to be able to build more production structures once this thing does go down. His natural is not an idea. He's still on 111. He's still on a heavy tech. In fact, he's going to go for double Cyclone drops. There's his natural. He's going to go for double Cyclone drops. And that can be rather useful. It can be hard to deal with. And it certainly actually is going to do a really nice job about dealing with this latent aggression that Byun has had just by the units that he's built kind of early game anyways. So the barracks is burning. That is something at the very least. We're going to have to see Cure. He's going to have to build another barracks eventually. He may be happy with his with his starport factory right now. He says that's really all I need to build. Cyclones are getting a lock on. Hellions will fall. The last second Hellion or last Hellion, just looking for a scout, but it's not going to find much of anything. But it does feel like Cure, just because the fact that he lost that barracks, is going to go for mech. And Data C is not a bad map for you. You can get 4 maps, or you can get 4 bases rather easily indeed. It allows you to get up to that 8 gas number that is just so damn necessary. To make sure that you're able to build the mech units at the speed that you would like. So now here we go. We got the drop coming in from Cure into the main base of the Hellion and the natural. Cyclone double drop, but it's a good lock. Oh, this is actually so nice. Lock on there on the medevac instead of the Cyclones. The medevac is the key unit of this pressure from Cure. You knock that one down, suddenly you can't find your way on the high ground. Suddenly there's less maneuverability. You cannot dodge lock-ons like your opponent can. So again, Byun just going to lock on top of the medevac, forcing it back once again. Yeah, the supply depot is going to burn. In fact, the supply depot is going to die, but Byun's still not supply blocked here. And Byun is batting down the patches. He's really not taking this damage that Cure is looking to inflict. It looks like Cloak Banshee, more Cyclones will be on the way. I'm somewhat surprised to not see Magfield Accelerator, just considering this. We're at 4 Cyclones, or we're at 3 Cyclones. The 4th one is on the way, but I guess not yet. I guess he said, I'd rather spend my gas on Banshees and Cloak, which may work, but Byun has a Raven on the way. He's got double Cyclones, so I don't really think this represents a lot of damage as the drop is trying his way in, but Cyclone says no. And Byun now, well, he's just going to force part of his opponent's army home because he just, well, Cure now has 5 Marines just in the back of his head sitting outside of his base that if he moves out, he's going to have to worry about. 6 Marines, excuse me. But there we go. Magfield Accelerator on the way now. But Byun, he's stabilized. He's in a fantastic spot at this point. 3rd base is going to be on the way. Now, he does have to worry eventually about the Magfield 3-4 Cyclone timing that tries to just snipe a command center. But with a tank on the... Actually, this tank positioning is not incredible to defend what Cure has because you just run the Hellion in first, the Cyclones then lock on the tank is dead. And Magfield was canceled. Okay, interesting. There we go. There's the scan. Cyclones locking on, denying or at least delaying an attempt to the 3rd base, but that is going to happen, but really not much more than that right now. Banshee sitting down behind Byun. Again, kind of locked down in this 2-base scenario, but the Cyclones, they run forward. And I guess we're going to see the Banshee look to run in right as Byun looks to get a little bit more aggressive. But, folks, I'd like to remind you, this is TVT. People don't get super aggressive in this matchup for the most part. It's kind of hard to break your opponent, but now Byun moving out on the map here. He's going to try to take the 3rd base, but he doesn't get a really good lock on. He only locks on the Hellion, which does then mean that the Cyclones are going to get positive trades on him, so Byun has to wait a little bit longer, wait for the lock-ons to happen. And where did these... Oh, there's the Cyclones. Oh, no, sorry. Cyclones bottom side, they will find the Banshee. As Byun scans the main base, 2nd Banshee trying to find a little bit more, but Viking Raven has enough to save by that one. There we go. On the other side, I want to say that was the other Banshee dead. Yeah, so Cyclones now, they're going to shark in. Looking for a lock-on here on the 3rd base, maybe. No, they're just going to dive straight into the natural. Looking for the Cyclones of Byun. They're going to take positive trades right there, but 2nd Cyclone that gets a little bit more, but here come the Vikings from the sky. There we go. Auto turrets go down, so we're going to see 1-2 Cyclones fall. A couple SCVs die. Byun stays alive for the most part. Now his push can happen in earnest. He's up about 9 supplies. Not a lot. And it actually is going to be bio from here, despite losing that barracks early, despite committing so hard to those Cyclones. It will be bio from the online warrior. We're going to have to see if that's going to work out for him. His upgrades, well, actually, they're in a decent timing. They're a little bit behind Byun's, of course, but they're not her end of the world bad. There's Byun. South side of Cure's 3rd base. Looking for someone dropping the main base as well. Looking to split up Cure here. We're going to see the Raven start to fall. Tank's going to get disabled. It's going to be blown up. Dropping the main base as well. Oh, he can get stim. He can maybe get stim here if he's paying attention, but he was still getting 6 SCVs is a nice start. Dropping the main base as well from Cure, but missile turret's in a good spot. So these are just going to be unsupported Marines versus the supported Marines that Byun has. This medevac is still alive. This drop is not finding... Well, actually, it gets 5 SCVs, so that's nice. Dropping the natural, though. Continuing the damage from earlier, now into the main base as well. Vikings land on top of these tanks, on top of these Cyclones. They're going to go down. 3rd base now under significant threat. 18, 19, 20 SCVs will pay the iron price. And now Byun has well and truly broken Cure in this game. I would not be surprised to see Cure tap out right now, but maybe he thinks there's a timing he can hit. Maybe he thinks that there is something that will allow him back into this game. And certainly, he's going to be able to get on top of these tanks, I thought. But then a lot of Marines, they die anyways. So it looks like at the very end, he will be able to get on top of the tanks. But only 3 Marines survive out of that one. It is a 30 supply lead right now for Byun. Granted, most of that is in the economy. Army supplies are somewhat equal, but 1-1 is now done for Byun. 1-1 is not done. It should be done by the time the push happens for Cure, actually. Yeah, it will. So at least he has that. And the tanks now sieging up. Byun, he wants to be active on the map. He doesn't want to allow Cure to really shove into his face. He's got to drop north side. He says, I know where your base is. I know what's happening here. So he's going to find 3rd base part 2, Electric Boogaloo, and he's going to try to kill yet more and more and more SCVs and really reduce any of the chance that Cure is going to be able to make a comeback. Because lose a mess of SCVs once maybe is fine because you say, oh, you know, I got enough. I can be able to rebuild. Maybe I had a little bit of a bank. second time, when you're spending all your money on rebuilding those SCVs, that's when it starts to become really problematic as Byun getting on top of everything. 6 SCVs will fall. He had a thought about killing the third, and he will lose this drop. But he had a thought about killing the third. Did not happen. And now a couple Marines of Byun rallying forward. He says, okay, here, you got a 4th base? No, you won't. And in fact, if you try to take this on location, you're never going to be allowed to have that here. Not as long as I have my Marines just scouting everything out. But this game has stabilized remarkably. Byun just getting off the reinforcements. He's playing like, a little bit like a Zerg here. You know, just counter. You know you're in a good spot, so you're just always counterattacking. Into the 3rd base he goes once again. More STVs will fall. He's going to make it 2. And that should be the end of that one. But he got a lot of stuff here. And meanwhile, on the other side, Byun, he does have to give this position up, but not before knocking down a couple of medevacs. So he will lose 2 Vikings, and that's something. Kira's still able to mine out of the 3rd base. I mean, he's still down 20 workers. He's still not in a good spot, but he's making a good old college try of it as Byun in the main base once again. And oh, yeah, there we go. There's the rich supply depot. Kira still not getting supply block, but getting closer. Luckily, Byun is a kind and merciful opponent. And he says, well, okay, yeah, I just made you maybe get a little more supply blocked. But on the flip side, I'm going to kill a lot of your stuff, and then you're not going to get supply block. Look how generous I am. It's not Byun stimming on forward, getting on top of all these tanks as they drop out of the medevacs. Good concave as well, but enough bio here right now to make it a little bit harder for Byun to take this fight. And here, again, he's doing a great job of keeping the army supply equal, even if everything else is very unequal, but Byun just needs to bring the rest of his army on over. He does have defender's advantage. He will be able to, and he's got a planetary on the way, so eventually the Marines will not be able to get quite as close, but Byun's stimming forward now, trying to get on top of these tanks. Good concave, and the Marines are a lesser number than they once were. So the tank will fall, Marines will fall as well, and Byun forces this one back. You're really, yeah, there we go. That was the last-ditch effort. He tried, he strove. Not hard enough. Byun 1-0. In the upper right, in the red, up 1 game in the series off of a really series he kind of led end-to-end. Game he will lead end-to-end. It's Byun. In the bottom left, in the blue, looking to turn this into a best of 3. It's Cure. And man, I am sleepy. So I know this is not exactly StarCraft related, but it's Blizzard IP, and you know we can dunk on stuff a little bit, I guess. Have you all seen the images coming out of the Overwatch League mid-season rumble or whatever it's called? Mid-season madness. It is disappointing to say the least. Like it looks like they rented out a conference room somewhere, and they put 2 long lines of tables facing each other, which, again, these are competitive teams with communications. It's not a 1v1 game like StarCraft where you're not like going to overhear people making calls or, you know, talking strategy nearly as much. And the tables are non-standard, like they're curved tables. It's really weird. It does not look professional in the slightest. But oh, Reaper trade for Reaper, but Byun takes the positive trade against Cure, so he's going to chase Cure away. Byun being a little bit antsy there. He says, well, maybe I want to make sure that, yeah, I want to make sure you don't have another Reaper on the way, that I don't dive too far into the low ground. Okay, here come 2 Reapers from Kira, but Byun gets a good grenade, and he does get good damage on the first Reaper. Hellions, they're getting reactored out, though, so Byun, as long as he just buys a little bit of time, he will lose that 1 SCV sitting on the edge of things, but that's fine. Because we're going to have 2 Hellions out of the map soon enough, and now, yeah, Kira cannot really contest this all that easily. Where does he go from here? Widowmine on the way, and that will just... That is a defensive tool. That is something that has become more and more popular in TVT as of late, where you put the Widowmine on the ramp. You put the Widowmine on the ramp, as we can see right here, or just soon enough. And then going up on the ramp, trying to get aggressive against the Terran that's done this, it's a free unit. You, at the very least, you get 1 unit out of your opponent, and at the very best, you get 1 unit, you do a ton of splash on another, and it just really shut the offense down. So it's just nice. It gives you a little a feeling of safety and security. As it whereas Byun has gone for... He's going up for more. This is not something I've seen for a while. He's going up to 6 Hellions. He really has some aggression in mind. And with this Raven, if he pairs it up, he will be able to deal with the Widowmine. Hellions do outrange Widowmines. So he will be able to make something interesting happen here, assuming he does move out with the Raven. There we go. Okay, so Hellion 2 Reapers. This is effectively the kitchen sink drop. Well, generally it's a kitchen sink push, but this is a kitchen sink drop here. And in the main base, it will go. Byun gonna have to rotate on over to defend this and show his Hellion count in the process. Oh, that's a big lineup right there. But the Hellions here defensively are gonna clean this one up with extreme prejudice. Yeah, that was really easy. Just a bunch of light units. But now Kira's aware. Is like, okay, wait a minute. This is like 5-6 Hellions. This is weird here, Byun. But I don't know that Byun's going to be able to get much done with this anymore, and now he's just spent a decent amount of money. He's Raven auto turret on the other side. He gets a couple SCVs. And now he's just spent a decent amount of money on this army composition that has really just slowed him down. That is the long and short of it. But looks like the auto turret actually got 4 SCVs, not even 2. So that's going to be nice here for Byun. Kira did not quite respect it as well as he would like. Hellion's active on the map, and they're not going to find these Marines. Good hot pickup there from Kieran. Widowmine on the forward ramp now, but Byun rotating on over to the right side. He's going to take the long way around to try to make something happen, or just not take the way around at all. Auto turret into the main base, and this time Kira's going to be a little bit quicker on the pull, but in the natural as well. Is Kira on top of this one? Looks like not quite as quickly, so he's going to get 2 SCVs right there, make it a grand total of 4, and that's to 8 total SCVs that have died in the last minute or so. And oh, he's going to get 6? Yeah. Kira, he's not really on top of... He pulls the SCVs fine, but he's not really on top of pulling them back. We're waiting for the auto turret to complete, or him to kill the auto turret before he pulls the SCV back to mining, and that means he just lost a couple more SCVs than he should have, which now it means that Byun's up 12 workers. His third base on location. Kira building his in his natural, and we're gonna have to see maybe this drop is gonna be able to do something. The first drop of Kira found really minimal damage, but Byun does not really have his army in his main base anymore, as the auto turret's harass once again arrives, but really to minimal effect. Finally minimal effect is where are the Ravens? Okay, two are back at home, one still aggressively, and now here comes the army of Kira. He's got a couple of Ravens, got a couple tanks. I mean, this is a scary tech-heavy army from Kira, but it is really just a distraction from these 8 Marines in the main base. They're going to try to equalize the damage that Kira has taken, and more so. A couple SCVs fall to start. Byun taking this fight in the middle of the map. Armor, there we go. The turrets will drop immediately. What? Could not remember what they were called for a second, but, you know, it's fine. Had a old Bale moment, I guess, so we will see. Eventually, the SCVs are getting pulled back here. I don't think you want to do that just yet. You need the tanks. You need some bio. But Byun doesn't really have what he needs just yet, so SCVs continue to get pulled, kind of dancing with things. A Viking is starting to fall here. We're going to see the medevac die eventually, but as the SCVs continue to dance with this army of Kira, it's really not working out for the man. Byun, he was in such a good spot in this game, but now it very much has equalized. In fact, if anything, Kira has found himself a lead. It's 47 workers to 45, but really the big deal? Actually, I'm going to say the big deal feels like Kira's probably caught up on tech there. But really, no, this is just Kira equalizing. Funnily enough, Byun's 1-1 is going to be faster. His stim is woefully faster. He's only down 2 workers. His third base still on location. This was just an equalizing. 20 workers, and it was just an equalizing move. Okay, here come... That is a lot. 4 Ravens here. into the main base, or into the natural here of Byun, looking for some value, and it's not a lot of Marines just yet. So the barracks they got to pick up, they got to run away. They say we cannot withstand this damage. Not really. A couple more SCVs will fall, and Byun will be able to mine out of his natural once again. Now remember, Byun does have the air lead, even if he does not have the Viking lead. Having the Raven lead, having the air lead here is really nice. It's auto turret spam on top of everything. The Marines are running on forward, but the Marines of Byun seem like they're doing well enough. The tanks are cleaning up all the auto turrets. This did not work out well for Cure whatsoever. He tried to make it happen. He tried to make this push work. It didn't. And now Byun on the bottom side, not really going to knock that tank down, but 3 tanks still remain. And Byun, his stim is done. His combat shields are done. It's 1-1. Over halfway done as the Vikings are going to land. That's going to be 1 tank pops pretty easily. Second one is not, though, so he's going to have to pick up and fly back away, or just waddle away, actually. But Cure has forgotten his +1 armor. His upgrades are in a horrendous spot right now. And Byun's been able to stabilize. Yeah, he took a little damage from the last several moments, but it's not damage that he cannot recoup. He's getting his 5th and 6th gas on the way just now. Tanks on the high ground, and it is very hard to break this position on Tropical Sacrifice. Very, very difficult indeed. So here come more Marines from Cure. He still thinks he can make something happen, still thinks that he can find a position where he will be able to wedge his way forward. And we do have to point out, while Byun has an upgrade lead, Armory is rather slow indeed. Now here comes the army of Cure. We're going to have 1 tank get disabled. Auto turret spam once again, but Vikings in the sky doing a great job of warding these out. In fact, the last of the Ravens will now fall. Vikings are really not allowing that to happen. And yes, 1 tank from Byun did die. But Byun's got a second round of tanks here, and it's really hard now for Cure to run forward because, well, the Vikings, they're defended by they're defended by the tanks. Now the tanks of Byun with superior vision are going to find their way, sneak their way forward. The scan was not right where it needed to be. Byun kind of skirted it a little bit. And now Byun's going to be able to break his way out of this contain. He's still within a little bit of the supplies are still relatively equal. But Byun's 2-2 is not quite as far ahead as it could have been. In fairness, not quite as far ahead as it could have been. But still decently far ahead, especially that +2 armor. So Byun, his 4th base on the way, actually behind what Cure has, because, well, Byun did have to dedicate a lot of resources to defending this one. But Byun making up for it. Extra command centers on the way, not just the 4th, but a 5th as well, or at the very least an extra orbital for him to scan, and see what can happen. Okay, though, Byun caught out a little bit here. Cure's going to be able to snap down at least a little bit of something. And there's the scan as well. I guess that scan was to say, hey, Byun, do you have any tanks in the high ground? Yeah, okay, so that's what it's just. Hey, do you have any tanks in the high ground? Do I have to worry about stimming up here? And the answer was yes. So Cure didn't really go for it, but now Byun, his extra command center just about done. His 4th base is just about done as well. I mean, Cure's planetary is also good, but Byun is also finished. But Byun has found himself. He's just been building more SCVs. He's on 83 workers right now, and it's always interesting when we look at mirror matchups. So Byun now with his 5th base on the way, matching Cure just a little bit, but the army of Cure marauding forward as Cure's at 169 supply. Nice. But this is not a position that Cure can really push into, as the game is really kind of stagnated. Yeah, Byun has advantages economically. Yes, he has advantages from an upgrade perspective, although those are not realized advantages just yet. But here we go, Cure filing forward. I didn't think he was going to be able to make this happen, but he did. Oh, he gets the 5th base. That's a wonderful trade now for the online warrior. And that is not just the only one that he's looking for. He's got a big army north side trying to knock down the 4th base of Byun as well. Bio-stimming forward, getting on top of this tank pretty damn quickly. Now tanks sieging up in range of the planetary. They're going to try to, well, at the very least, they're going to get some SCVs down. But here comes Byun on the bottom side. He's going to knock down all the tanks, I think, but he's going to lose a lot of his bio in the exchange. And this is, well, kind of equalizes. But remember, Cure has 5 bases. Byun only has 4. So Byun, he's going to have to go a bit expeditionary now. He's got to strap on the linen shirt and the wide-brimmed hat and try to find some economic damage once again. It's Cure now. He's got that army, the same army that killed the 5th on the right side once again. Byun running forward. Only 1 tank here. He knows about this. His 2-2 is done. His Marines are better than his opponents, but I don't think he has more than them As now on the right side, or I guess in the middle here, but Byun going on forward. STV's gonna get pulled, trying to deal with this one. Tanks are not quite seized. Byun seeing an opportunity. Will it work out for him here? 15 STVs have died. Marines continue to follow. The tanks knocking down everything from Cure. Byun found the fight that he needs, and on the other side, he's been able to clean up everything as well. That 2-2 timing is miraculous. Byun now, he's gonna be able to force this third base of Cure to lift off to go somewhere else. Actually, I think the Vikings may just be able to kill it on off here. Byun, he's up 20 supply. The tank spread is just too damn good. And yeah, it looks like the orbital will be kept alive, but this is a mining base that Cure no longer has. Not really. And Byun has been able to retake the north. Well, actually, he never lost the north side base, but he's got that extra command center done. He's going to be able to take right side soon enough. In fact, on the minimap, we can see it finding its way over right now. Byun taking superior Viking trade once again. And his 3-3, while it is, again, not quite as fast as his 2-2 was compared to the 2-2 of Cure, the 1-1 compared to the 1-1 of Cure. He still will have a 3-3 first. His Marines will still be better as Cure now. Oh, he scans out. He says, okay, only one tank is sieged. This is his opportunity. Byun, totally on siege here. Just pick up, run home. Pick up, run home with as much as you can. That's what he's got to do. Wee with his tail between his legs. Byun's got to get back. But he absolutely found the value he needed from that army, from that fight. He got 15 SCVs. He's really knocked Cure's economy down just a little bit, even as Cure has taken the 5 o'clock base. But Byun does not want to take this fight, I don't think. Tanks are going to siege up, though, and maybe he's going to prove me wrong as the bio continues to fall. But Byun through the ram now. He's found his way all the way through the choke. Another tank is dead, and he backs up just a little bit. These Marines are very red. The Marines are incredibly red. But that's nothing a medevac won't fix given some time and some energy. Byun now creeping forward. No longer the wholesale moves of a man who is desperate, but the slow, calculated chess plays of a man that knows that he has a lead. He just has to find a way to finish this game out. So Marines into the 4th base location, maybe, but not quite. They actually, they fake Cure out. This was so smart here, but no, Cure actually knows he's going for a flank on the backside. Scanning out, tank Byun sieging up his back tanks before the front one so he can get shots off immediately. This is not going to work out for Cure whatsoever. He gave it a good effort, and it was sneaky indeed. Now Byun, of course, on the bottom side, shelling away the planetary as well. Cure, though, his Marines taking a little bit better fight in the middle of the map as Cure continues to take some level of damage. Tanks in the middle of the map here. Byun sieging up as well as got a tank line. As long as Kingdom Come, the planetary is now dead. Only 5 SCVs died, though. Cure has been able to rebuild his economy just a little bit. Byun has +3 armor. His Marines are not quite as weak as they once were. +3 attacks going to finish up rather soon. Before, of course, Byun's +3 is Byun now taking this timing once again, stimming in. Another tank falls. Marines continue to fall here. Byun up the ramp, looking for something more. But it is a ramp. It is a small as hell choke, and there are 2 tanks here ready to rain hellfire. That 3-3 just about done for both players. Again, Byun not having that advantage that he may have looked for quite. He's going to run out of it right now, but 5 tanks dropping north side. This is where Byun cracked the game wide open. Is this going to be where Byun ends the game, or is this going to be where Cure fights his way back into an equal state as the bio stims forward? Orbital is going to be forced to lift once again, but the concave from Byun, nice for now. Orbital, it's burning though. It's going to be repaired all the way to full, but the rest of the army, Cure is dead. And once again, Byun brings it back. Game 2 goes the way of Byun. In the upper left, in the blue, he's up 2 now. Looking for the queen sweep. It's Byun. In the bottom right, in the blue, he's down 2. Oh man, he was in such a good spot in that second game, but it did not work out for him in the end. For Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it's Cure. So no proxies, nothing out of the ordinary. Byun, I think, has realized that he is perhaps the superior TVT player in this series at the very least. But in fairness, a lot of that game was because Byun had good timings. Because he had 2-2 versus 1-1, 1-1 versus 0-0, and he leveraged them harder than I've seen in a TVT in quite a while. Because normally, this used to be the way it would work. If someone gets a 30-second window with their Marine upgrades, the game would just end. But now, it very much does feel like we see well, a little bit more of this idea that, well, the tanks are strong enough and you have Ravens and you have Vikings. It's just so hard to push in because the way the economy scales, you can get gas a little bit faster. You can get tank counts just a little bit faster. That it's going to work out. But man, Byun, he's gone a little greedy this game. It's going to be Reaper expand into a reactor behind that one. He knows no fear. He's going 3. With 2 maps to give, he's going 3 CC. He says, yeah, you know what? This Cosmic Sapphire can be greedy on it. And if you don't punish me, Cure, I'm going to run away with this one. This is a real... This is actually a build that he has adapted from his TVP that he does very rarely. Where kind of is the similar idea of a 3 racks, but it's a 2 racks and a 3rd command center as well. It still hits with a rather similar timing, tons of stim marines. Well, okay, a little different. This is going to be 3 racks behind this. Has Byun forgotten that Cure is not playing Protoss? This is interesting. I don't think I've seen this against Terrans before, but with 2 maps to give, might as well try it, right? So, stim on the way. Actually, there's a time here where Cure gets something done. This is not a lot of Marines, but more are going to find their way forward. 1 Marine, or excuse me, 1 Reaper will fall. Now Byun micring backwards. Reaper joins the fight as well, and more Marines. I mean, this is a lot of Marines dying here. Cure, this is a fantastic timing for him. It's just a bunch of light units against a bunch of Hellions. I mean, you do the math, folks. Cure certainly has. Byun is going to lose this natural, lose control of the natural for a little bit. Stim is not yet done. Marines popping on out, and these Hellions, well, they killed a lot of stuff. This is the problem when you go for, say, 3 racks Marine stim timing against a Terran, against a Reaper, or against a Barracks Double Gas Factory Opener. You don't have the tech that deals with this. So now Byun, he's finds himself down at half the army supply. He's not even up workers, even with the triple Oracle, not triple Oracle, with the triple CC play. He's got a little bit better of a split this time as now Cure. He's got a vague sense of what's happening. Yeah, Byun just GG's out. This is not going to work for him. Nice try, Byun. Weird build. Didn't work. Did Mar do this to... Mar tried this against Bunny? Okay. I'm not caught up with the GSL yet. Maybe. I don't know. Byun trying to take some inspiration from Maru, but Maru actually lost that series, so... Don't know if that's worthwhile in a cold StarCraft. Tomorrow's, for me, it's going to be hot StarCraft. It's going to be 90 Fahrenheit. It's going to be... Starting to hit that July weather. It's been nice. It's been the 70s and 80s. It's been so temperate. Let's see now. We're on Stargazers map 4. Byun has lost a map. He had a couple maps to give. He tried something that was a bit weird, and make no mistake about it, it was very, very weird. Let's see if he's going to do something a little more standard. I don't know. Let's find out. That kind of... I don't know what to say about that one. Game 4. In the upper left, in the red, he's up 2-1. It's Byun. In the upper right, in the blue, he won game 3, but I felt more of a product of Byun's build than anything. He's Cure. So, nothing too wild from Byun just yet. But I mean, the timing where he gets real wild and crazy is about 2:30. That's what we're looking for. But for now, Barracks double, yeah, Byun's not doing anything super weird. Barracks double gas factory is on the way. There we go. There's the factory. So this is your standard TVT opening, and that makes a lot more sense. I mean, yeah, when you got a couple maps to give, might as well try something weird. Might as well try something weird. But if it doesn't work, back to the drawing board. Play the thing that's gotten you a 2-0 lead. Now, of course, there's always the worry, and I mean, these players are professionals, but I would like to point you to Creator if you try to tell me that, well, they have perfect mental. And in fact, I would actually like to point you to Cyril. Cyril Cyril to me at least, very much seems like a player that does very much benefit from being offline and does have a little bit more struggle maybe curtailing his emotions when he plays online. He seems like you see him get more frustrated in online play for whatever reason. But anyway, 2 Reapers done. Now there's the reactor on that barracks. Byun just sitting at home saying, hey, yeah, Cure, be aggressive. Do what you want. But Cure is doing the Cure thing. This is something that Cure does, that Cure started doing, and we see some players occasionally do it like special, where he gets his first Reaper defensively, and then he gets a really quick reactor, and then he starts reactoring out Reapers. It's the similar result by the time he either wants to move on the other side of the map, or by the time that, say, his opponent moves on the other side of the map, and you're into your mid-game production faster, which is nice. If you have more flexibility, you can build Marines, you can build more Reapers, and in this case, he's reactoring out Reapers. He's going to have 5 Reapers, 3 Hellions. This is going to be much more committed pressure than you might normally see. 3 Reapers, 2 Hellions, something like that, because you don't want to keep on production too long, because then you got to build the reactor. But if you build the reactor first, you can build those extra Reapers. So now we're going to have to see if Byun is going to be ready for it. Cyclone is what really deals with this one for the most part. But there we go. Reapers are just about done, and there's the medevac as well to just, well, elevator things up onto the high ground. Now Byun, this is actually such a big scout there from Cure. He saw that the Zelnaga was held. That was why he sent the SCV out. That was why he sacrificed the SCV. So now, bottom side, that's where Cure does go. As Byun, he's got to drop what is in this. It's, yeah, it looks like Reaper, a couple Marines, going to try to find something, as 1 Hellion will die, but that is a sacrifice Cure is willing to make. Is now diving into the natural here. There's no wall, folks, so this is actually a lot of potential damage. It's a full mule as well, so 5 SCVs fall to start. 6 as well. SCV's going to get pulled here to try to surround the bio as it pops out. Couple Marines as well. Byun not getting enough damage just yet, but there's Hellion in this army right now. This game is getting wild and wacky, folks, but the micro of Cure is not really all that great. Even still, he's just killing so many SCVs, and here we go. Now he's microing. 16 SCVs have died. Can Cure, is there any way that Byun's going to be able to balance this damage out? I don't really know. But there's the medevac, and where there's a medevac, there's a prayer. I guess there's kind of a choke. 8 SCVs have fallen, but it is 21, 20, 19 workers to 15. And Byun, yes, he's building more SCVs at a time, but this drop, for the most part, has been dealt with. Although the Raven, okay, drops the auto turret now, and that should be the end of that one. Luckily for Byun. Oh, actually, there's a Cyclone here. This is a bit of a problem. Byun just trying to knock something down, but he's going to lose everything here. Gonna say, well, you know, at the very least he keeps the medevac out, and at the end of the day, actually, with this Reaper as well, because Byun's base was faster, I think. Byun's up 4 workers somehow, some way, because I guess the damage was a little bit later for Byun. Byun's actually in a better spot. We look at resources workers lost at the end of the day. Byun lost 2 more SCVs, but I guess no, actually what it was, like, Cure cut workers to make this happen. He had smaller economies. Orbital was delayed. So now Byun's actually in a decent spot. Weird as it is to say, this game is just kind of equalized. Byun has, his Raven is slower. He only has 1 Raven. Well, actually, no. Ravens are right around the same timing. Cure's is slightly faster on the second, but nothing really to write home about. And what this has done now, all it's done is just slowed the game down. Now, instead of being, we're looking for push timings maybe around the 7-8 minute mark, we're looking at the maybe 9 to 10 minute mark. These players have to build themselves back up. Once again, they got set back down to effectively initial probe count or initial SCV counts, except with mules. They can, and double orbital, so they can build it back up a little bit faster this time. All right. That doesn't get much done. Was that a Raven going down? Yeah, it was. Good catch there by Byun. This is Raven finding a little bit more. Maybe there are no Cyclones there defensively. And Kira's actually been a little sloppy on his pulls this game, so 2 more workers will fall. And here comes the push of Kira, though. Ravens of Byun have been used aggressively. Oh, he pulled it. Oh, that's a problem. But it looks like only 4 workers will go down anyways as Raven drops in once again. But that means that there will be no defensive Ravens for Byun. No way to disable this tank. No way to get on top of things quite as easily. But still, Kira's economy is in a real bad spot now. And these Cyclones, if they get a good lock on, they're going to be in a very, very nice spot. So double lock on there on the Cyclone running forward. But good scan there from Byun. Oh, he gets a lock on the Raven as well. Really, really softening this Raven on up. So Kira now, as he runs forward, he's trying to make something happen. And that pressure, that build that he went for is, oh, more SCVs fall. Yeah, Kira's all in. Kira's hella all in. Tank on the high ground is going to get disabled. And that should be a dead tank. But Vikings are now on the way out of this starport from Byun, as he will lose a Cyclone. That's really not what you want. But as the Cyclones are going to start to pop on out here, or the Vikings are going to start to pop on out here from Byun, he's going to be able to force the Ravens away. In fact, the first Raven's going to die very, very quickly, as it is rather low. So from that perspective, oh, the auto turret, 10 more workers go down. I mean, Byun at this point, bring your Ravens home. You do not need to get value from them anymore. You have killed Kira's economy. You just need to not die. And I don't know that Kira is going to be able to get the damage he needs. Not with this army. It does not feel very big. Byun just buying time, though. He is supply blocked a little bit. He does lose the supply depot. Vikings try to knock the Raven down, but the Vikings, of course, they got to be careful. And there we go. Here comes some Ravens. High ground vision. Tank runs forward. Kira is not going to be, or Kira's going to be forced back off this position now, as again, Byun supply blocked. He needs to build some more supply depots. Maybe this would be held if he had done so, but even still, I mean, he's going to have to spend some energy. Depot top hatted up to make sure he can build stuff again if he has that energy whatsoever. But now we got 4 tanks in this push from Kira. Maybe that's going to be enough. Maybe that's going to allow for something to happen. It's a Cyclone. Byun is just, he does not want Kira to have any shot of having an economy in this game. If Kira's economy has been shattered thrice now, and I mean, at that point, you lose your economy 3 times over, there is no coming back. Maybe once you can make it happen, because it's like, okay, well, you know, I have the vestiges of a bank maybe, or I can build something back. But no, not 3 times in a row. It's not Byun. He's got a nice sieged up position in the natural. Third base is on the way. And his depot's a little bit further back. He's not going to find himself supply blocked as easily. His stem, of course, in production as well, but that's not ready just yet. We're looking at 5 Vikings to 4 here. So Kira does have the Viking lead. His tanks run a little bit forward, trying to knock down this bunker. But the bunker, well, it's going to get salvaged, and it actually, oh no, we'll die in time. There we go. Nice job here. But Byun, I don't really like his decision to keep killing the economy of Kira, because at this point it's dead. Like, you do not need to kill the economy of Kira anymore. You just need to make sure this army dies, and you're going to be fine. Now, in fairness, it does not feel like this is a position that Kira can push into, not with everything else that Byun has, not building 3 Vikings at a time. He's got double port Viking. I love this. If your opponent is just relying on maybe having some good Raven control or good Viking control, or you just got to find some advantage somewhere, just get a second starport. Everything else, I mean, you can absolutely afford it. But the Marines of Byun into the natural once again. Byun says, let me ravage your economy for a 4th time. It'll be fun. You'll have a good time. And actually, no, Kira will not have a good time. Kira is a sad boy in this game. Absolutely. Marines on the high ground. Kira does not even close the, it doesn't even close the wall. They say Protoss needs a door, but Kira does too. And now this is the last fight. Auto turrets getting spammed everywhere. Vikings running on forward. In fact, all the Vikings on the ground, all the Vikings in the air for Kira. Well, they're on the ground now. The Vikings are running on forward. Tanks are doing what they can, but Byun, he will not be broken here. Folks, your champion, EPT North America 132. His name begins with B and ends with Byun. He is Byun, and there's nothing that Kira can do anymore. The tanks, the last vestiges of things. Byun briefly pulls the SCVs, but he does not even have to do that one. Byun, 3-1. Kind of dominates Kira in this series.